If you are a high performer who gets to perform at work or in your business, you're trying to lead and step up, but you rely on motivation, the motivation to get out of bed, the motivation to go to the gym, the motivation to eat well. If there are areas of your life where you are not performing, and you're performing in one area but not the rest, you're making money but you're not motivated to look after your health, you're not motivated, then you got to understand that motivation is bullshit. And in today's episode of the Empowered Man podcast, we're going to walk you through why it's bullshit, how you can actually stop relying on motivation, and how you can do something much more powerful to get rapid results in your health, wealth, and relationships. So whether it's having a better body full of energy that looks great, whether it's improving your relationship, whether it's exercising or eating well, whether it's making more money and 10xing your business, you're going to want to figure out exactly how to remove motivation and rely on this powerful tactic instead. I'm going to share with you exactly what it is in today's podcast episode. So strap in, listen, take notes, and figure out how you can achieve 10 times more without motivation. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Empowered Man podcast. Let's just turn the air conditioning off. Today we're going to be discussing why motivation can destroy connection in your relationships, can destroy momentum in your business, and can also end up fucking up your health and your happiness. And we're going to tell you exactly what you need to do instead. So it's a pretty exciting podcast here. Why do you think so many successful men are able to crush it at work, Sam, and then they end up fucking struggling to be motivated to do anything else? I don't know what the deal is. It's like you can show up, crush it at work, and then all of a sudden you have to get up and go to the gym. You're like, I'm too tired. But like, you do the work. So what's the fucking difference? What do you reckon?
It's interesting. It's like there's this disconnect. You know, we focus on being consistent and driven and motivated. Like, it's one of those where it's almost a dirty word. I don't like it as much, motivation. Like, we'll talk about that today.
Yeah, it's a fucking horrible word.
Yeah. But like, we put all this energy into business and crushing it there. And we kind of use all the fuel in our tank there. And then, you know, it comes to working out, or it comes to investing in the relationship or self-care or something like that. It's like, oh, I've got nothing left.
Yeah. And then we rely on motivation to get it. Like, somebody will listen to this podcast and go, oh, yeah, I'm motivated now, like all the other podcasts. But what happens when you're by yourself and you don't feel like doing it? You know what I mean?
That's it.
So today we're going to talk about like the different types of motivation in the different areas. So you can have motivation to work out and exercise and eat well. That's like your health. You can have motivation to, you know, put effort into your relationship, communicate, have difficult conversations, give your wife what she desires, flowers, quality time. That's relationships. And also the motivation to keep up with the kids. That's a big one. And then there's the motivation in business, which is like to make more money, be successful, provide choice and freedom. And there's these three key areas of health, wealth, relationships. The first problem I see is that with motivation, it's this external stimulus. So it's like, I'm motivated because I want to make more money so I have freedom. I'm motivated because I listen to this podcast. I'm motivated because I saw this guy with a six-pack and I want to look like that. And The Rock was drinking his fucking magic drink. And I thought maybe I could be that guy too. But it's all external. Right? We've got a client in our group, Peter, who's been finding it challenging. He's just joined the program. He's successful, 12 staff, really crushing it in business, but he's been struggling with his health for a very, very long time. And one of the things he said to me was like, oh, I don't want to get a personal trainer because I feel like if I can't do it myself, then like, what the fuck's the point? Like, I'm going to pay someone to do it for me. Like, if I can't do it, then, you know, that's my problem. That's the whole point. It's like, if you could do it on your own, you would have done it. Do you know what I mean? So all these people rely on motivation to crush it. And then by the time they finish work, they've got nothing left in the tank, you know? So there's two problems. There's a lack of motivation. There's also a lack of energy, right? It's like you're lacking energy because you're burnt out, but you're also lacking motivation because you're lacking energy. And it's this vicious cycle, you know? What's the deal with this whole motivation thing? And like, why is it a problem? Like, why do you think that it destroys connection in your personal health and your relationships?
You know, I think motivation, like, as you said, it's an external thing. Motivation is directly related to how we feel. So when you've, like you said before, you see that guy working out with a six-pack and you're like, I want that. You're motivated. And that's cool. But there's going to come a time when you're not motivated and you don't feel like it. And that's what like I think that motivation actually drives inconsistency, because it's kind of, it allows us to be led by how we feel.
Yeah.
So I wake up and I feel motivated because I slept well. I take action and it's great. But tomorrow or yesterday, when I didn't sleep so well and I didn't wake up motivated, then I don't need to do anything today. And it's just this inconsistency.
Yeah.
And then we get no results.
That's so true, man. It is feelings. Like, feelings are fleeting. So you have moments where you feel on fire. Everyone's had this as a man, and that's like the feeling of being a winner. It's the best feeling ever. If you could bottle that shit up, it's worth millions. But then you have moments like the other night where Talia, my daughter, was screaming at like 12 in the morning, 1 in the morning, at 3 in the morning. The next day I feel tired, I feel frustrated, and I feel stressed. And that's without the day even starting. So then, like, if I'm relying on this external motivation linked to the feeling, if I feel like shit, now my likelihood of taking action goes down. And it's all because I'm relying on feelings to drive me forward. But feelings are fleeting. You're happy, you're sad, you're angry, you're chill. Like, there's these moments where you go up and down with feelings, and that's part of being a man. The problem is most men don't know how to control their feelings because they're so stuck in their businesses and their careers that they just bottle shit up and sweep it under the rug. And then when it comes time to go and do shit, they're reliant on these motivational quotes and motivational moments. But if you're relying on feelings, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think a big distinction here is feelings versus facts. You know, like, what are the facts? The facts are that you feel like shit and you're tired, but the facts are you said you were going to work out.
Yeah, that's it.
So, like, who are you? Are you an action taker or an excuse maker? And I mean this with no disrespect. If anyone's listening to this, like, Sam and I have both had many moments where we don't feel like doing it and then we don't follow through. But this is where that disconnection piece comes in, right? Because if you say you're going to do something, if you say you're going to work out, eat well, be a better husband, not yell at the kids, finish work earlier, and then you don't do it, then you can, like, lie to your kids and you can lie to your partner and you can lie to the world, and you might not even tell people what you're committed to. But there's this little piece of you that knows that you've lied to yourself. So then what happens is this vicious cycle, because, like you said, you're committed to something. You get busy, you have too much work on, you push it to the side, and then you lie to yourself, and there's this piece of you that goes, I knew you wouldn't fucking do it, and then your motivation drops even more. And this is all subconscious. And that's the first level of disconnection. It's the disconnection with the man in the mirror.
Yeah.
You know? Because, like, you work with a lot of our clients in a very intimate setting. Like, they make a lot of money, and they're very successful, but they feel disconnected. Like, how is that even possible? How does that happen?
It's an interesting thing to think about. I look at it, you know, a lot of them are very motivated. They would say they're very motivated with their business, but other elements of their life are falling apart. Relationship, health, whatever it is. And I think often it comes down to, with the business, they put a lot of time into it. They've got a grand vision. They've got a grand vision of where they want the business to be. And so that vision drives them to take action. So it's not necessarily motivation, but it's like, we're going to push through the challenging times, and we're moving towards that grand vision. Yet if they're to look at their own life, their own health, their own relationships, etc., there's no vision there. And they're going about the motions, and the days where it's good and they feel motivated. Yeah. Awesome. But then those other days where they're working so hard, they're home late, everyone gets the scraps of them because there's no vision in place. There's nothing driving them to show up and invest in themselves and take a few hours off to invest in the family, you know? So I think it's directly related to vision, you know, and we touched on that word earlier, that inspiration as opposed to motivation. They're very, very different things.
100%. That was so well put. There's this, like, reliance on motivation in so many areas, but when it comes to business or career, for a lot of us, we are connected to a vision, and that connection to a vision pulls us towards it. It's like, if you think about the word connection, it's like we're tied together to that thing. And because there's a very clear vision, like, how much do I want to make? How do I want to grow? Like, what freedom do I want to have? That's exciting, right? So then there's this excitement, and there's this desire to do what needs to be done. because it's a very tangible outcome. It's like make an extra $1 million, tangible, vision, clarity, connection. So then you're excited. And despite how you feel, and every business owner knows what I'm talking about. Every career-driven man knows what I'm talking about. Despite how you feel, you get up and you go to work. You don't just wake up. Maybe you do sometimes. But you don't just wake up and go, I'm not going to work today. I'm not going to work this week. You do what needs to be done, partly because you feel like you have to, but also because like you're inspired by the end goal, by the outcome.
Yeah.
And this internal inspiration comes from this connection to vision. I couldn't have said it better myself. So then the reality is, if you think about it, that's wealth. We've got a vision for wealth, a lot of us. But where are we lacking the vision elsewhere? Do you know what I mean? Like how would you break that piece down for everyone? Like, yep, they understand the wealth piece. Yeah, excited, inspired, motivated in a way. But what happens to everything else?
Yeah. Well, it just, you focus your energy and your attention into one area. It's a common, like as I talk to a lot of the guys that we work with, it's this common theme. This is going so well in my life, but these areas are falling apart. And what I love is when we start working with these guys, we bring it all together. Yes, the vision for the business is there, it's clear, but let's put it down. Let's write it down. But what else? How do you want to be for your family? How do you want your health to be? And a lot of these guys have never thought about that before. But it's kind of bringing all of the elements together and saying, as a whole person, with your whole life, what do you want that to look like? And that might necessarily mean for them, it's scaling some of those things back in the business. It's finishing, it's not finishing at 10 p.m. every night, but it's actually finishing at 6 or 5 or whatever it is to invest in health or invest in time with family. And it brings it all together.
Absolutely. Yeah. And having reality around the fear of like dedicating less time to work and grinding because of the stories of like everything's going to break down. Because there's this fear that if you let go of the control in work or business, and I speak from experience, that you're going to fail or you're going to move backwards. But this is the kicker here. If you have a clear vision for your business and you are inspired to grow financially and provide freedom for your family, but you're lacking motivation to look after your health, like you're burnt out, you're broken down physically and mentally, you're overweight, you don't exercise or eat the way you know you could or should, or if your relationship has lost the spark and you're disconnected and you sit on opposite ends of the couch, then yeah, you're successful in wealth and you're inspired for that one thing, but then you're reliant on motivation in these other two areas, health and relationships. So the formula here is like, you don't need fucking motivation. You get to have inspiration of a vision that's clear of like, what does my relationship look like? What does it feel like when my wife looks at me and she wants to fuck me? Because a lot of guys, their wife doesn't look at them the same way anymore, right? It's a horrible feeling. Or like, what does it feel like to have my kids like say, Daddy, thank you for finishing work early? Or what does it feel like not to have a six pack? That's motivation. Oh, I want to lose weight. Yeah, so everyone wants to lose weight. You also want to drink piss and eat donuts. But that's not a vision. That's not inspiration. Inspiration is, man, I'm going to wake up a year from now and be full of energy. And I'm going to be able to run around with my kids. And I'm going to be able to fuck my wife the way she deserves to be fucked. Like that's inspiration because that's a feeling. But not the feeling of like motivation where it's coming and going. That's a feeling of like your vision. There's a difference between motivation of like, that sounds nice, and the feeling of like vision that you're connected to. And this is why so many men who are successful, they find it so easy to grind. Not easy, it's hard, but they do it because it's so clear. It's like, if I just keep going for another year, another 5, I'll have that freedom. What about your health and relationships? So the first problem is motivation. Like motivation's bullshit. If you rely on motivation, fuck that. Fuck it off. Fuck off motivation. You don't need motivation. The second thing is, what's the vision? If there's any area of your life that you are not motivated in, what's the vision? Like, what do you want? We did this in a previous podcast, I believe. Like, if you go back and listen, where are you now? Where do you want to go? What's holding you back? Yada, yada, yada. The third thing I wanted to talk about today was discipline. 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 What is that word? If you're listening to this right now, what does that mean to you? What does discipline mean to Sam Whitwell, coach of coaches, master of men? Should I put a sound effect in there right now? Let's go.
Yeah, do it.
All right.
Come on.
That was so fucking intense. I hope the people listening don't jump off. All right. What does discipline mean? What does discipline mean?
You know, I grew up thinking that discipline meant restriction. That discipline meant I couldn't do something. That it was taking me away from something. Now, 35 years old, I look at discipline as something that keeps me on track. So vision drives action for me, and that action is driven and inspired by discipline. So there are some days where I wake up and I go, it'd be so easy to just hit the snooze button. It'd be easy to just not go and work out, easy to not commit to my routine, easy to not do this, easy to not do that. And I can do that. And there are a lot of people that do that, rely on the feelings, and their feelings become facts for them. When I have the vision, that drives me to take action through discipline, through going, maybe I don't feel like it. However, you know, and one of the things that we do as part of our morning routine is we reflect on our feelings, and they inform our taking action. They don't, They don't dictate whether we take action or not. The discipline comes in when I decide that despite how I'm feeling, I'll acknowledge how I'm feeling, but despite that, I'm getting up, I'm taking action, I'm doing what's going to move me closer toward the grand vision that I've got. Discipline for me is like when you go bowling and you get the bumpers on the side so the ball can't go into the gutter. Discipline is kind of the bumpers that keeps me moving forward when there are opportunities to just veer off, but just, I'm moving forward. I'm tired, I don't feel like it, whatever it is, but I'm moving because I've committed.
That's fucking powerful, man. Have you shared that before?
No, that's just from the heart.
That was fucking powerful, man. Like, it's so true. It's like when you have discipline, even if you hit one pin, pin while you're bowling, you're going to hit one with those bumpers. Like, discipline is like, there is always some level of success and forward momentum if those bumpers are there. And that's exactly what discipline is. You said something extremely powerful that I'm going to try and repeat verbatim. Discipline is when you do the things that are required to accelerate your health, wealth, and relationships, despite how you're feeling. There's a lot of D's there. Discipline is when you do what is required to forward momentum, to move forward in your health, wealth, relationships, not just your wealth, despite how you're feeling. And that word despite is so powerful. It's like discipline is a muscle. It's like driving a car. The more you do it, like brushing your teeth, the more you do these things that you are struggling with motivation for, especially if you're successful in one area, like health, like wealth or business, the more you get up and do those push-ups or workouts, the more you eat better, the more you eliminate shitty foods and alcohol, the more you do it, the more it becomes a part of you until one day you don't need motivation. It's just who you are. Like it's who you are. And those bumper plates are just who you are. Like that forward momentum, it just happens every day. Because that's where this idea of disconnection comes from. It's like, if you are lacking motivation, therefore lacking discipline, therefore lacking inspiration, therefore lacking vision, you're not whole. You're not a three-dimensional man. You're a one-dimensional man. And you can be very successful being one-dimensional man, but what ends up happening to the other areas of your life? They begin to suffer.
Yeah.
Like, how many wealthy men are fat as fuck? How many wealthy men's wives cheat on them or leave them? In our group right now, we have 4 men whose wives are having emotional affairs. These guys make millions of dollars a year. Great. Inspiration and discipline in the business. Where's the discipline in the marriage? And by the way, like, I want to make it very clear. If you're listening to this and you struggle with motivation or inspiration or a lack of a vision or balance, it's not your fault, man. Like, where's the school on how to be balanced in all these areas? I've been a personal trainer since I was 20 years old. I'm now 30. I stopped about 5 years ago, but I've been training for 10 years, probably 15. So yeah, I can go to my garage and work out every day without thinking about it. But maybe you can't. So the question is, what's one thing you can do today to be disciplined? And you do that for a week. And then what's one thing you can do the following week to be disciplined? And just like brushing your teeth, it becomes a part of you.
Yeah.
Hey, legend, if you're getting value from this podcast, then you're going to love our Empowered Man 7-Day Challenge. Inside, we've taken some of the best content our clients invest thousands of dollars for to change their lives, and we've given it to you in the course of 7 days. This challenge is worth over $3,000, and you can get it for $37, 97% off. Inside, we'll teach you how to fix your marriage and relationships and reconnect with your partner, your kids, your wife. We will teach you how to take back your time, how to take back your power, get into powerful routines, and how to take control of your life, take control of your mind, take control of your business, take control of your health, take control of your wealth. Sounds too good to be true, but there's a complete money back guarantee. So if you're enjoying this podcast, go to elitebusinessman.com/challenge. That's elitebusinessman.com/challenge. It's going to be in the call notes as well, and you'll be able to register for this challenge that will completely change your life. This is the third piece of this as well. So let's say you're disciplined, right? You listen to this, you're like, you know what? I'm fucking working out. I'm gonna put together a plan. I'm gonna do it. I've got clarity on a plan. I'm committed to doing it. I'm taking control. I'm reconnecting with myself. Awesome, bro. And you do it for like 7 days or 14 or 21. Have you done that before? Like you've been consistent?
Yeah.
What do you notice about men as soon as they fall off the wagon? They can do 4 months straight. Smokers do this. They can quit for 4 months. As soon as they fall off the wagon, what happens?
It's the undoing. Like it's totally the undoing. And it's not like, oh, just get back on. No, it's like, oh, it's all over. Yeah. Like, let's go like you quit cigarettes for 4 months and then you fucking smoke 7 packs in an hour. Like, yeah. You eat healthy for 3 weeks and then you fucking eat 4,000 million calories. It's crazy. And then guys will frame it as, oh, that didn't work for me. It did for 4 months. It did for 4 months, but it's like that thing that started to unravel where you had the opportunity to go, whoop, own that, acknowledge that, fail forward, became their unraveling.
Yep. And it's all meaning. Yeah. It's all meaning-making machines. We have Jesse in our group right now. He hasn't run for years, ran like every day for like 3 weeks. And then this month, stopped running. 1 day of not doing it, which is fine, turns into 2 days, turns to 3, and now it's been like a week or 2.
Yeah.
There's this interesting thing with men. It's like we're disciplined until we're not. Part of the secret as well is like understanding there are going to be moments where you're not disciplined. There are going to be moments where you're not motivated. And it's in those moments that you get to go, okay, cool. What am I going to do about it? This is why reflecting every evening is so important. It's like, okay, what went well today? I fucked up my routines. What am I going to do tomorrow? Do my routines. Yeah, that's it. This idea of commitment. I think for a lot of men, it's, getting to listen to yourself and go, what is a must for me? Like, is brushing my teeth a must? Probably. Is grinding my business a must? Yes. Is picking my children up from school a must? Yes. But, I muted myself. Is your health and your happiness a must? You know what I mean? Like, you cannot be successful in one area for an extended period of time. If you are one-dimensional and you are not putting your health or relationships at the same level as your wealth, at some point your body will force you to slow down.
Yeah, that's right.
How does a man make it a must? Because when it's a must, it's not motivation anymore. It's done. It's like the smoker. There's 2 types of smokers, right? There's a smoker who's trying to quit smoking. There's the smoker who quits smoking. He's like, I'm not a smoker. This guy's trying. So he's already failed. He's already decided, like, I've got a bit of leeway. This guy says, I'm not a smoker. He will never smoke again. It's how I quit smoking. How do you become the one who shifts his identity and becomes disciplined? It's who you are, not what you do, versus somebody who's trying to be disciplined.
Yeah. I personally, I think there's a couple of things there. I think the vision gets to be grand. Like it compels us to take action. It's that, I love some of the things we do with our clients, the North Star. We start to speak it out like you're already living it. You identify on an emotional level, and that's the driver to take action. Now, you're not going to feel that inspiration and that motivation all the time to take action. And that's where, for me, the biggest thing that helps me remain disciplined and stay connected to my vision is accountability. Because I tried for many, many years, nearly 20 years, to do it on my own. And, You know, like you shared before with Peter, it's this thing as men. No, I've got to do it on my own. I've got to do it on my own. Oh, it's not working for me, but I've got to do it on my own. I should be able to do it on my own.
Yeah.
And we would have if we could. So,
yeah, if you could do it on your own, like you're shitting all over yourself. If you could do it on your own, you would have done it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, scenario. Anyone here listening has got children. My daughter's 13 months. Luca's 4 years, right? Yeah, cool. If you had just let your kids not brush their teeth and expected them to brush their teeth until they're 18, what would happen to their fucking teeth? Okay. What happens is you brush their teeth for them. We do it for Talia until they're what? How old does it take till a child brushes their teeth on their own? You got a 4-year-old.
He's just starting now. It's so good.
Bro, 4 years of accountability. And now your son, after 4 years, it's not a small amount of time, is now brushing his teeth. But there is going to be a tipping point where you never need to ask him to brush his teeth again.
Yeah.
You hold him accountable. So accountability is a tool to achieve discipline. This is why people have coaches. Like, everyone knows they should eat better, but when you hire a nutrition coach, guess what? Now you're invested into discipline. And it might take you 4 years, it might take you 3 weeks. But it becomes so accountable with them that all of a sudden you don't need that accountability because you learn how to hold yourself accountable. That's what discipline is.
Yeah, totally.
Discipline is being able to hold yourself accountable despite, like you said earlier, despite how you feel, despite what's going on in the world, you do the shit that gets to be done. But for that to happen, you need to know what needs to be done. You need to know what's holding you back, and you need to know what you're going to do about it. And then you need to fucking commit. That's what discipline is. It's a deep level of commitment. It's a deep level of commitment. Anyway, I cut you off. You were on a pretty good tangent, and I've forgotten exactly what you were saying. Accountability. Accountability. Exactly. Accountability. So accountability is a big piece of discipline.
It is.
Yeah, go on.
It's easy. It's where we kind of go with accountability. Like accountability for me is really important. When I'm looking to work with a coach, one of the first questions I ask is, what's the level of accountability? Because I've worked with many coaches before. It's like, nah, sign up and off you go. That for me doesn't work. So when I have checkpoints as accountability, that works. However, knowing that whether I do or don't, whether I achieve things or don't, that's completely up to me. My results are 100% my responsibility, not someone else's. But I employ that person to be a checkpoint for me, to check in, to, discuss and go, this isn't working. How else could I do this? So.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
I think as well, like understanding that if somebody else isn't holding you accountable, how are you holding yourself accountable?
Yeah.
And if you're not holding yourself accountable, what's the evidence of your past? Have you tried before and failed? If the answer is yes, go and pay someone time, money, and energy to hold you accountable. This is what I wanted to tie back to, actually. So there's a difference between having a vision and having goals. Okay. So if we break this all down from the jump, if you want to be successful in your health, wealth, relationships, the first thing you need to do is you need to have internal discipline and get rid of motivation. Okay. The discipline only works if you have a compelling vision, which is that North Star. And that North Star has to pull you towards it despite how you feel day to day. You do the work because it's so exciting and it's so powerful that it will bring you forward. So let me give you an example. Okay. I want to lose weight is not a vision. It's a set of words that don't mean a fucking thing. If you can establish why you want that goal and why it's a must, you ask yourself, why is it a must? Like if I had a gun to my head, why would this be important? If they put a gun to my son's head, why would this be important? And then painting the vision as if you already feel it. Let me give you an example. I want to lose weight. That's the goal. The vision is I jump out of bed and I feel energized again because I felt like shit for ages. I look in the mirror and I can see a confident, tall, powerful man. I have muscles. My biceps are sticking out. I have a six-pack. And my wife or partner or future wife or partner wants to jump my bones. That's a feeling, right? If you're struggling with confidence or being overweight right now, imagine the opposite. If you can get to that depth, which requires time and commitment, now it's compelling. And tomorrow when you don't want to get out of bed, you have to then, in the moment, this is really hard to do, you've got to be able to put yourself in that vision, which is going to create the inspiration within to be disciplined. Does that make sense? Same as in your relationship. It's like, I don't want to argue with my wife. Great. I want more sex. Awesome. Who doesn't? But waking up next to your wife and her putting her arm on your chest and telling her that she's proud of you and she loves you, and then she jumps your bones, and then when you come home, you're looking forward to coming home, and you feel the warmth of your wife and she kisses you on the lips, and your kids rush to you, that's a vision. Right? And I think this is something a lot of men struggle with. Do you remember when you were a child and you had an imagination? It was so different. It was like you could imagine these things. If you're listening to this podcast right now, how difficult is it for you to do what I just said? Be honest. It's challenging. How much time does it take to build this vision?
Yeah, it's a great question. To build it, to carve it out, to name it, I think in our head we think it's a longer process than what it actually is, because we actually know, deep down, we actually know what we want. We know what the vision is. It's just that we tell ourselves that we don't. We tell ourselves it's too hard. We tell ourselves it's not going to work. I actually think it's quite a simple, easy process with the right measures in place, with the right support around you as well. You know, some of the guys that we work with, they come and go, I don't know what I want to achieve. And we start asking them other questions, and they're like, how did you get that out of me? It's like, you knew, you knew the answer. You know who you want to be. It was just about, I love, I think is it Michelangelo, the guy who sculpted stuff?
The guy with the testicles? Is that
maybe
the one? Yeah.
Yeah, there's a quote from him, because he used to look at a block of stone, just a block of stone, and he said, I just kept carving until I set the angel free. He had this vision in his mind of what was underneath that square of stone, and he just kept going, because he could see it. And that often, is going on in my mind, going, oh, all I see is this right now. But what's underneath that? As I chip away.
That's powerful. Because if you can see what's underneath the stone, if you can clearly see and feel the finished product, that is a way of motivating yourself. But it's more leaning towards inspiration.
Yeah.
Like, of course we struggle with motivation when we can't see the end goal.
Yeah.
So if motivation comes from feelings, you feel good, you're motivated, you feel like shit, you're demotivated, then by definition, doesn't that mean if you can, in the moment of struggling with motivation, step into the future, see and feel your outcome, you can't have these two feelings coinciding. So that's what inspiration is. It's being able to take the future you and feel what it's like to have the relationship, the health, the wealth, the business, the marriage, the sex, the leadership. If you can feel that, and that feeling can overcome the lack of motivation, then you're going to do what needs to be done. And it's this amazing thing because it builds. Yeah. What are you going to say? You seemed like you were going to say something.
No. That was great.
Yes.
I was just like, yes, you're right.
Yes, it's true. It's true. And this is, I'm speaking to myself here as well. There's many moments in my business where I'm like, I message you, I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, fuck this. I'm sick of talking to men who aren't committed. I'm sick of wasting my time. I'm going to go sell a fucking product. I'll sell nose strips. Like, I'll go do something else. And it's in those moments that I really get to go, okay, well, what's my vision? Why am I doing this? So to give the people at home some practical advice, okay? If you are struggling with motivation, if you are disconnected from your wife or kids, or if you're disconnected from yourself, physically, you don't feel well, you're burnt out, broken down, or mentally, you overthink, you struggle to switch off, that is a form of disconnection. And you cannot have connection unless you're in control, and you cannot be in control of your thoughts, feelings, actions, and reactions, therefore your results, if you're not committed, and you can't commit and be disciplined if you don't have clarity on where you're lacking motivation. So where are you lacking motivation in your life? Okay. Second step, once you know where you're lacking motivation in those three areas, health, wealth, relationships, second step is ask yourself, what do I want? What are my goals? And then go much deeper. Why do I want that? Oh, because it will feel good. Why do you want to feel good? Oh, because it will make me happy. Why do you want to be happy? Well, because I haven't been happy in years. Why do you want to be happy now after years of not being happy? Because I'm over feeling depressed. Why do you want to not be depressed? Go deep. Why? And at the core of all those whys, you'll find the real reason, because you want to love yourself again. You want to be successful and not feel like a failure. You want to feel good enough. You'll find this deep reason. And then you ask yourself, why is it a must? Why now? And how would it impact my wife, my children, and myself if I did this? And if you can spend 5 minutes on what I just said for your health, for example, you'll have a much more compelling vision than just, I want to lose weight.
Yeah.
Do the same thing for your relationship. And then the next time you have a plan, and you got to have a plan after that. You got to plan what you're going to do and what you're going to commit to. But once next time you don't feel motivated, you go, cool, I don't feel motivated. Let's go back to my vision. This happened to me this morning. I was downstairs about to go for a run. I spent 30 minutes just scrolling on my phone. And I'm like, why am I not running? And I'm like, because I'm not thinking about the marathon I'm running in 6 weeks. So I went back to crossing the finish line. I felt the pride in myself. I got out of the fucking house and I ran. That's the formula. But understand, it's not motivation. It's discipline. It's commitment. It's not a commitment to anything other than yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you're disconnected from yourself, how can you connect with your wife and kids? And that's probably the final part. Like, what do you reckon happens to somebody's business and wealth when they actually commit to themselves?
Prepare for things to skyrocket. Like I think of one of the guys we work with, Jesse. You know, he came in to fix his relationship and work on himself. And as he did that, he's like, my business is it's in the best position it's ever been in. He said, I'm hiring people, I'm delegating things, I'm home more, I'm doing all this. As a result of investing in himself, it's the ripple effect. It just ripples out into every other area of our lives. Yep. But we so often think that it's backwards. No, I've got to build that and then I'll have time for me afterwards, but we never get there.
Nah. How long have we been saying that story? I'll just slow down when I hit the next target, and the goalposts always move. It's fascinating how connecting with yourself, being disciplined and inspired towards a vision, and looking after your health, your body and your mind, your nutrition, your exercise, your routines and rituals, investing time, money, and energy into you. It's fascinating how it affects your relationship and how it affects your business. Because this is the thing, like I said before, you can be successful without those things, without that discipline. You can just grind. But at some point, man, your body will slow down. You have a friend who's 46?
Yeah.
Okay, my memory serves me. She just had a stroke. Right? And I'm assuming she was relatively disciplined. But like for her, like massive shock. Her body, for whatever reason, forced her to stop. Do you know what I mean? And this is the thing. I think as men, we just forget our mortality and we have excuses and problems. We're too busy. We don't have enough time. And you're right. You don't have enough time because at some point you won't be here. So if your children were to like describe how disciplined and inspired you were in health, wealth, relationships, what would they say? How would they describe you? Yeah, my dad like says he's going to do stuff and he follows through. My dad says he's going to finish early and he comes home. My dad's really healthy and shows me how to eat well and exercise. Or my dad sits on the couch, drinks beer, and is too tired to play. Yeah. And that is a fucking confrontational thought, my friend. And if you're doing that, it's not your fault. No one taught you how to have it all. Yeah. But the first step is discipline, man. You got to be disciplined. Fuck motivation. Yeah. Awesome. All right, cool. Anything you want to add in?
I think just to tie in with that, one of the questions that I will often ask men when they come in and they're like, my vision, all I want to do is I just want to fix the business. I just want to fix the business. I just want to scale things, whatever it is. One of my questions is always, so who are you when you get there? What do you mean? And that's when we start to bring them back and going, it's about you first, and then it ripples out. And it does.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you're on your deathbed when you get there, nobody wins. Like, what's the point? What was the point of all of that? So who are you when you get there? Exactly.
Who have you become? Who have you inspired? Because that's an identity, isn't it?
It is.
Motivation is external, but discipline is an identity. Being motivated is not your identity. You're not a motivated human. That's just something you feel. But being disciplined, you are a disciplined human.
Yeah.
So yeah, you want to grow and expand and be successful, but at what cost? At the cost of your health and your marriage? Now, fuck that. You can also grow a business and be successful, or grow in your career and make loads of money and have freedom in your life by 40, not 65. If you're 40 now, by 45, it requires discipline. And that's a choice. So what are you committed to? Like, do you want it all? Do you want to have your health, wealth, and relationships thriving? Well, who are you going to be when you get there? Are you going to be a man with discipline who's successful in every area, three-dimensional? Or are you going to be a man that talks shit and says he's going to do stuff and doesn't follow through? You choose.
Powerful stuff.
So I hope you got some value from today's episode. If you did, wherever you're watching it, make sure you give it a thumbs up, 5 stars, touch it, lick it. I'm not going to go further than that. Do whatever you need to do. And if you are a man who does struggle with motivation and you want more discipline in your life and you want to be successful in your health, wealth, and relationships and have balance in all these areas, then there will be a link or a button somewhere up above or down below on wherever you're watching this, where you'll be able to jump on and book a coaching session with myself or Sam or one of our Empowered Man coaching team members. And we'll walk you through the exact roadmap we have used with over 546 men on how to have it all and be successful, disciplined, and in control of their lives. So if you'd like more information on that, go and book a coaching session. And there's nothing to buy. If you want to work with us, great. We guarantee results. Otherwise, we'll show you the roadmap on how you can get there. All right. Anything you want to leave us with, Sammy Whitwell?
No, that's good, man.
Beautiful.
I'm inspired.
I am too. Let's go let's go be disciplined.
Yes.
Have an amazing day, guys. And if you'd like some help, go and find the link, book a session. We'll see you guys for the next episode of the Empowered Man podcast. Hey, brother, I hope you got a ton of value from that podcast. If you would like to work with us personally and get some of the best content we've launched for our clients who invested thousands of dollars, then go and complete our 7-day Empowered Man Challenge. This mission will completely transform your life. If it doesn't, you won't have to pay a cent. It's only $37, and it is game-changing if you want to take back control. So if you want to find balance between business, family, and life, if you want the relationship, the health, the wealth that you deserve, then go to elitebusinessman.com/challenge. That's elitebusinessman.com/challenge and take up this challenge to take back control of your life.